guys, it's Madison, and I'm going to do my literature review over men in nursing today. So I chose this topic mainly because of my job change into the ICU as a patient care tech, and I see a lot of male nurses and male patient care techs, and I love how diverse the nursing field is becoming. I wanted to know if they had any struggles or hardships in a job which is mainly run by females, and men deserve to be treated with dignity, respect, and kindness just like women do because they've worked as hard, if not harder, than some females to get where they are today in nursing. So the question I went with this is, as men are increasingly appearing in the nursing field, are they more prone to experience hardships due to their gender? So the thesis is there are many improvements and developments in our healthcare today, which includes the change of men being in nursing. This is so important to have diversity in nursing and other parts of healthcare. However, with the upbringing of it, men are getting a lot of backlash for it. They're facing difficulties like people thinking that they're doctors instead of nurses and that they won't provide enough compassionate and holistic care as females will. The first article I read was a historical glance, challenges of male nurses. The first article was written to show challenges of male nursing in general, and it was found in the research that men were actually a predominant gender that started nursing before the rise of Florence Nightingale. After fighting to come back to nursing after this rise, males were only able to care for male patients because Nightingale thought that nursing was only a suitable job for females. Many families and patients agreed with this, so many male nurses dwindled out of it because of it. Furthermore, males were shunned for wanting to be nurses and not doctors, and it wasn't until in recent decades that registered nurses and nursing students were more accepting of males being in the nursing program. So the strengths of this article is that, yes, it showed many studies that have been done to show how nurses were perceived as different. And it also points out how they were the first ones to be involved in nursing before females were. The weaknesses were there were many ways it points out the differences that males face. However, it really didn't show ways on how to fix what was going on or approach it in a different way and how to break the stereotype of males being gay or different for wanting to be in this profession. The next article that I read was Male or Nurse, What Comes First? Challenges Men Face on Their Journey to Nurse Registration. This second article was a study done to evaluate male nurses in their careers and interview them personally about how they feel in their everyday challenges. Many men were happy with their experiences, but some of them face issues with their gender, like being confused for doctors instead of nurses. They just want to be viewed as nurses, not male nurses. They also feel like they're outsiders looking in, and they will never fit the stereotype that is being made out for them. They want the same job titles that female nurses get to make sure they get all the clinical experience as possible, and a lot of them felt like they got a female-oriented education and felt like it should be non-biased and even because we do treat everybody, not just females. The strengths of the paper, it was interviewed by male nurses personally with their experiences in the nursing field, and they got to have their opinion stated. But the weaknesses is they did interview a couple males, but they did not get a broad spectrum of people, of males in the nursing field, because they only interviewed 9 people instead of a huge group of people. I also feel like they need to have some female nurses interviewed to see how they feel about the differences, along with seeing how they would added to the difficulties or differences that men face in nursing. The last one is the male nurses, the perspective of hospitalized children mothers. This third article is in a different view of how male nurses are perceived. It is viewed as the hospitalized parents of children on nurses that happen to be male, and these people that are interviewed are mainly mothers. The results are great to see. Most mothers viewed males in nursing as a good thing, and there should not be gender discrimination against them or a gap. However, there are some mothers that do not agree with male nurses because they don't think they can give enough compassionate care to the child that they have in the hospital. And there is some still hesitation of males being in some nursing fields like OBGYN or gynecology because it is a female predominant field. The strengths of it would be the male nurses have been seen as beneficial and needed in healthcare as nurses because they add more diversity and needed involvement as time goes on. And the weaknesses is it stated the views of mothers of children but however, it didn't really get the views of the dads or the patients themselves and how they felt about the male nurse. So in conclusion, along with much of the research that was done, there is a lot of benefits of male nurses, but there are still some gaps that need to be filled. Some of these gaps include seeing how elderly patients feel about men in nursing and how fathers view their children being in the care of male nurses. Although there is minimal to no difference in the care that men give versus females, some people have an opinion about who cares for their loved ones. Some future research that can be done to kind of aid in the um, establishment of nursing, male in nursing, could be interviewing more male nurses to see how they feel about the care they're giving or the difficulties they have in their everyday lives, ways that could stop people from stereotyping them in nursing, and researching more ways to introduce more male nursing students into healthcare. And that's my works cited. Thanks, guys.